slides that we'll be going through. Hopefully, I'll be able to answer most of all your questions through the slides. I am going to ask that if you could please continue to keep your video off as well as your sound. We do have a couple videos to show you, and we've just found that they run more smoothly when the cameras and mics are off. If you do have questions, feel free to go ahead and put them into the chat, as I do have someone monitoring the chat for me. And periodically, if there's an applicable question while we're going through the slides, we'll stop so I can answer those. And then I do have time at the end for questions and answers. So we'll get started with the introductions. I'm Amy Berge. I am the administrator for all of the early childhood programs here in Stillwater. And tonight I have with me Pam Morrison. So I'll let each of our staff people take a minute to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Pam Morrison. I supervise the Birth to 5 special ed program here in Stillwater. And Julie Thole.
Thanks, Pam. Hi, I'm Julie Thole, and I am our early childhood instructional coach, and I'd like you to meet Amy Scari.
Hi, everybody. I'm Amy Scari. I work with Stillwater Community Ed. I'm the supervisor of youth programs, so I am in charge of our Adventure Club program, which is before and after school. And we also have a wraparound care program at the ECFC for kids who are in preschool there. So I'm here to represent any questions that might come up about Adventure Club or other types of out of school time programs.
And then Sherry.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherry Berg. I am the preschool teacher at Anderson. Welcome.
All right, thanks everyone. Again, welcome parents. We're so happy to have you tonight. So we'll move on to our next slide to get you pumped up about having a future pony.
Amy?
Yeah.
Amy, we're not seeing the video right now.
Oh, you're not?
We are seeing, it just says Amy Berge has started screen sharing. So we're not seeing your tab that has that on there.
All right, are you seeing that one?
No.
Okay. Well.
So now I see you stopped sharing.
Sorry, everyone.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Weird.
There we go.
Okay, now you're seeing it?
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that, everyone.
Thanks.
time, swing it. It's gonna collect in some kind of a basin up here.
It is just an unbelievable experience and advantage that we're giving to kids.
All right, well, hopefully that got you excited about all the awesome opportunities that we offer here in the Stillwater Area School District. So now focusing back on preschool, just a couple dates that you should be aware of. Tomorrow, January 20th, is our preschool registration. It begins at 7 a.m. You can go to our website. And Julie can put that in the chat if you don't know how to get to our website, because I know it can be tricky. And you'll go in and register. I do suggest, if you can, to get on early. We do have several schools that tend to fill up fairly quickly. But after you have filled out your information in our system, it will give you an email that says that your registration was successfully completed. Now, that doesn't mean that you necessarily got into the school. It's just letting you know that we received your registration. It does take about 2 weeks for us to go through all those registrations and then start accepting you into the school of your choice. Once that happens, that registration fee of $65 will be charged at that time. And then again, you will receive an email saying that you got into the building of your choice. And then again, just a reminder that before August 22nd, students, if they haven't already been screened, they need to come in for a preschool screening. That information can also be found on our website. And then all immunizations must be up to date. Or if you have an exemption, that also needs to be on file. And this does not include the COVID immunization. So again, just want to let you know that we're very proud of our high quality preschool program here in Stillwater. We bring young children together in a safe and nurturing classroom. We have all licensed preschool teachers, and I would say that probably over 80% of them also have their master's degree. So they're highly qualified preschool staff in all of our classrooms. We're very fortunate to work closely with the district with regard to our literacy curriculum. It is aligned with the kindergarten curriculum that kiddos get in kindergarten, first and second grade. It is our phonics program, Letterland. We also do shared reading, which also aligns to the reading program that they receive in kindergarten. And then, of course, a big focus for us in preschool is that social emotional development. And so the teachers work daily on those social emotional skills, because we just know that they are very vital for future school success. And then each day, we include music and movement, sensory exploration, story time, block play, dramatic play, outdoor play, a snack time, lunch for some of our kiddos, and circle time activities. And then just a reminder that children must be independent with toileting and out of a pull-up or a diaper, with the exception if a child is on an IEP. So again, why choose Stillwater? Well, we think that we're absolutely high quality with fabulous staff here. Again, we have licensed teachers with 4-year education degree. Our classrooms are integrated. We serve all children of all skills and abilities. I mentioned this briefly on the last slide that we do use Fontes and Pinnell shared reading. So kids are learning the concept of reading from left to right and some choral reading activities. We have our second step social emotional curriculum. We use responsive classroom. Every teacher has been trained extensively in responsive classroom, and they follow morning meeting and building of classroom community. And then, like I had mentioned, again, we use Letterland for our phonics program. We offer full and half day options for our 4-year-old programs. For those of you interested in our 3-year-old preschool programs, we have those 2 days a week, either morning or afternoon for 2.5 hours. So again, it would be a Monday, Wednesday class, AM, PM, or a Tuesday, Thursday class, AM, PM. There is free bus transportation for 4-year-old preschool children who attend preschool at an elementary building. So our 7 elementary buildings, if you choose, you may send your child on the bus. That would be for going to school and then coming home in the afternoon. If you choose a half-day option at the elementary buildings, the child could ride the bus in the morning, but a parent or caregiver would have to pick them up midday since there's no midday busing for preschool. And we also offer financial assistance. Again, a little bit about preschool screening. It is free. Every child must go through, as it is a state law, to be screened. The phone number is 651-351-4022 to make an appointment, or you can make an appointment online. And just a couple of things to expect during your screening is that you'll be welcomed by one of our screening staff. They're all very seasoned screeners, and they look for, they'll check vision and hearing, just a brief check. They'll do height and weight. They'll again look at the immunizations, and then they do some tasks that look at large and small motor, thinking, language and communication skills, and then that social emotional development. For those of you that are looking at our 4-year-old preschool, we do offer lunch for students. This year, lunch has been free again for all students. I'm not sure what the status of that will be for the following school year. We haven't been given that information yet. But again, you can look up all this information on our nutrition services page on our website. Again, we offer age-appropriate portion-size meals. Again, there's daily servings of fresh fruits and vegetables. There is a milk choice, obviously the grains, protein, and then they also look at the reduced sodium, etc. So again, if you have any questions, the information is all on the school website, or you can call Nutrition Services at 351-8326. Something to note, we do also have students bring their own snack. If they attend a full day program, they would bring one snack for the morning, one snack in the afternoon. They do need to be individually packaged, just meaning that if you have Cheez-Its, that they come in a Ziploc bag. And then if it's a half day or 3-year-old program, you would just bring with your child one snack for the day. Again, I did go over the bus transportation, again, where space permits. There is transportation. And I have not had an issue this year. Obviously, transportation has been tricky, just given COVID and the lack of bus drivers, et cetera. But again, in the past, pre-COVID, we have always been able to have room for our preschool students to be on the bus. Again, if you are interested in financial assistance, you can feel free to call the center here at 351-4000, and you can talk to someone about that financial assistance. It does apply for both 3 and 4-year-old preschool students. If a student is 5, prior to that September 1st date, so September 1st of 2022 of this year, financial assistance is not available, and that is because they are age eligible for kindergarten, and so the state sees them to be going to kindergarten. So again, I just put some numbers on there so you can get an idea of if you might qualify for financial assistance. And then I'm gonna
Amy, can I just pause you for a moment?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just curious, in the chat, I only have the name of iPhone asked, how do I apply? And I'm unsure, are you asking how you apply for nutrition services? Whoever asked that question, if you want to just clarify in the chat for me, please. Thanks.
Sure, and I'll go a step further with that. That reminds me that in order to get the application, because it is an application process for financial assistance, you first need to get accepted into a preschool class before we give out the application materials. But once you are, or if you have questions before, please do call. We're happy to answer any questions. But again, we would give out that application once your child has been accepted into a preschool classroom.
And the question was regarding registering for preschool. So I just put the link back in again to our website.
Okay, great. Pam, are you good to go with this slide?
Yeah, sorry, I've got a little bit of cold, so hopefully you can hear me. We are an inclusive community. Our commitment to diversity and inclusion creates a culture of equality for all children and families. Classrooms are well staffed with licensed early childhood teachers and educational assistants to ensure that all children have a great preschool experience and make a smooth and successful transition to kindergarten. In partnership, our special education teachers and therapists will work alongside our preschool staff in supporting students with special education on an individualized basis. Thanks, sorry.
Yeah. All right, so just wanted to give you a quick sample of what a full day preschool day might look like for your child. I had mentioned earlier that all of our teachers have been trained in responsive classrooms, so they will have a morning meeting, and that means that they're greeting their peers into the class that day. There's snack, there's a large group, there's center time, there's outside or gym, weather permitting. Then there's lunch, there is rest time, story time again, music, movement. They do go outside, have that other snack, choice time again with different options in the afternoon, a large group, and then a closing circle. And for our 3-year-olds, we have arrival, we have that morning meeting. We have those learning centers, snack and book time, circle time, music, movement, gym or outside, free choice play, closing group, singing goodbye, and dismissal. I don't know if Miss Sherry wanted to add anything for schedule.
I think the only thing that I would say is it differs, it varies from school to school based on when the gym is available and recess times and lunches. So in general, I would say that it covers all of the areas, but the schedule will change from building to building.
Thank you. All right, Amy Scari, you want to talk about Adventure Club?
All right, so our Adventure Club program is something that is available before and after school at all of our elementary schools. And it is mixed age, so preschool all the way up to 5th graders. And then we also are open in the summers and on non-school days. And then we are at ECFC, we have a preschool wraparound. So if you were in like just the morning, we could do wraparound at the ECFC. Our registration, one thing is really key, and one of the reasons we put all this information on the slides is because preschool registration opens tomorrow, but Adventure Club registration doesn't open until April, and it does often fill. So we really encourage preschool families, if you know you need before and after school care, to mark down that date in red right there, the Tuesday, April 5th, that we open registration at 7 a.m. And you sign up, put in what you need, and then you be charged a registration fee. One thing I don't think I put in here, but it's good to know, is if you don't know yet exactly what you need for next year, maybe you know you need after school, but you might not need every day. If you think that, then you could sign up for Monday through Friday after school, and then you get a chance. It's usually early August. We'll set a date that you can drop days before you commit to your contract. So if you're not sure, I would sign up for a little more, and then know you can always drop out. Don't sign up for just one day and then try to get into more, just because we do end up waiting with waiting lists. And we are available in the summer. I just saw a question pop up, but we are not available in the summer for kids going into preschool. So it would be the summer after that you would be looking at if you're looking to be in preschool next year.
Amy, can I clarify that? It's if a child is in 3-year-old preschool this year, though currently, and going into 4-year-old next year, they can have Adventure Club, though this summer.
If they're in 3-year-old preschool and they're already using us for childcare, we basically say then you can come in, because we don't want to take childcare away from somebody who's had it, but we don't start families in the summer who have not been in the program before. So yeah, the other stuff here is just when, kind of how we do registration. This is also all available on our website, and I will stay on the call for the rest as well. So if questions come up at the end about Adventure Club, I can certainly answer some.
Thank you.
Amy Scari, is there pricing, excuse me, is there pricing available to see on the website for Adventure Club? There are a couple of questions about cost for Adventure Club.
I believe we've just been working on it this week. I believe the before and after school care is out there on the website, but they hadn't yet updated the ECFC page. So the wraparound ECFC will change slightly. But the before school is $12.75 a day and after is $13.25 a day. So it gives you an idea. But those prices will be all out there before registration opens. In fact, I think they'll be out there by the end of the week. We're kind of doing all the updates right now for our summer and next school year registration.
Thank you. And could you just clarify Fridays for us again, of how a Friday works at both the elementary buildings and at the Early Childhood Family Center, please?
So at the elementary buildings, Fridays would be part of your preschool contract. It's a Monday through Thursday preschool with an optional Friday play day. Tell me if I'm doing that right, Amy.
Yep, that's correct. So there's two contracts. If you are going to be at one of the elementary buildings for Friday play day, you'll sign up for the Monday through Thursday preschool, and then you would also sign up for Friday play days at the elementary building. But at the childhood center, if you want preschool Monday through Thursday, then the Friday option at the center is through Adventure Club. And then I'll let Amy.
Yeah, so ECFC, we are open every day because we have students who need wraparound each day. That with kids like 3-year-olds who might need afternoon or morning. Whereas at the elementary buildings, our staff are gone all day during the day. So Fridays it's run by the preschool, and then you could still sign up for before and after with Adventure Club. So at the elementaries is part of your preschool contract. At ECFC, it'd be part of your Adventure Club contract if you want Fridays.
Anything else, Julie, before we move on to this last part?
Let's just clarify that Friday play days, registering for that, it is a separate contract, but that is found on the Register for Preschool page, correct?
Yes,
Amy
that
Bird?
is, yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
And then just to clarify further, Amy Scary, if they wanted Fridays at the center, they would wait until April 5th to register. Is that correct, Amy Scary?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was looking at the chat to see if there's any other questions, but yeah, they would have to wait until the April deadline or to register for that.
Okay. All right, so this is our last screen slide rather, and just wanted to give you a quick glimpse into a morning meeting in one of our preschool classrooms with Miss Allison. This was taken last year when we were had to be in our modified preschool program, which meant that half the kids came Monday, Wednesday, and half the kids came Tuesday, Thursday. So the class sizes look a lot smaller in this clip that you're going to watch, but hopefully it just gives you a good sense of what part of a preschool day would look like for your child.
Let's see who's choosing our greeting. This friend's name starts with Devani. Devani is choosing the greeting today. Awesome. All right, friends, we're going to sit and look at Devani as we sing Looking Out My Window. Ready? Let's keep the beat. Looking out my window, who do I see? Look at her and wave. Let's see. This friend, the first sound in their name is Hayden. The friend's greeting is all done. Now it's time for let's go. Let's practice. Let's practice. Using in hand, if you can think of a friend that is not here today. Hayden, who's not here today? Can you look? Emma's not here. We're going to put her in our heart. Annie's not here. And now, we wish you well. We wish you well. All through the day today, we wish you well. And let your well wishes go. They're going to be delivered to all the people because they're in our heart. Wish you well is done. Now it's time for sharing. And today, I am wondering what favorite food is, since we're learning all about me and our families. So to learn about you, I want to know what your favorite food is. Today for share, we're going to do a whip share. And a whip share is where we say one word, or it might be one or two words, because if your favorite thing to eat is ice cream, that would be. So I want everyone to close their eyes and think. One favorite food. Right. Give me a thumb down with your fingertips. We're just gonna say share is all done. Now it's time for activity. And I have one of our favorites that's gonna come out today. The leap game. So everybody turn and look at the pumpkin patch. You let me see you. Turn, yeah. Opening those eyes or peeking. What's the guess? It's not behind diamond, star, heart, or oval. Devani, what do you think? This green circle. Or later, get yourselves a hug. You did great. Last thing for right now is going to be message. What is it? It's a star. These black dots here. Where there is a black dot, that means that we have a word in our message we're going to read. Okay? So, eyes are watching, ears are listening, voices quiet, bodies calm. This is how we listen. This is how we listen at time, at time. Show me how your legs should look. Show me one of the choices, out or crisscross. We're gonna learn about what we're gonna read today. My turn. Good morning. Our turn. Good morning. My turn. We will read the story. Lunch, lunch. Our turn. We will read the story. Lunch, lunch. My turn. Love your teacher. Today during Share, I asked you what your favorite food was because I knew we were going to read a story called Munch Lunch. But first, we are going to do some music and movement to get our Let's see who's choosing our.
All right. Well, hopefully you were able to have a little insight of what morning meeting. Obviously, it's a lot busier now with all of our students back, as I'm sure Miss Sherry can talk about. But now it's time for us to get through questions that you might have. So Julie, what kind of questions do we have?
Yeah, so I am going to scroll back up to some of the earlier ones that I had put off. So there are a couple of questions around class sizes, both for the 4-year-old preschool and the 3-year-old preschools, and then wanting to know about teacher-student ratio then within those class sizes.
Yeah. So we try and keep our 4-year-old preschools to about 18 students. We can have up to 20. We have a 1-to-10 ratio, meaning 1 teaching staff or an adult to every 10 students. But we find that the most manageable amount of students in classrooms is our sweet spot is around that 18. So we have the 18 for the 4s and then 15 students for the 3-year-olds. And it's that same ratio, 1-to-10 for 3-year-olds. And every class is staffed with our licensed teacher and then an educational assistant. Most of our classrooms have 2 educational assistants. We typically have a morning assistant and then we have an afternoon assistant, and then the 2 assistants overlap so that we keep those ratios over the lunchtime, because if your child goes to 4-year-old preschool and is in full day, they'll stay for lunch. And during that lunch, recess, rest time, that's when our teachers have their lunch and their prep time. So the students are with the 2 educational assistants during the midday. And I should also say that lots of times we have other staff that come in that help support students throughout the day. So again, we could have special ed teachers in there. We could have special ed paras in there. we are very fortunate to have a lot of adult support in our classrooms.
Thank you. There is a question around the 2-mile rule for busing, and I'll just read the question. It says, will the 2-mile rule affect busing this coming year for preschoolers, considering there is a shortage of bus drivers in the elementary schools?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And unfortunately, at this time, I don't know if that will change for next school year. So definitely as things get closer to the next school year, we will be communicating with parents what transportation will look like.
Thank you. There's a question around full days for 3 schoolers. So could you talk through if somebody does need full day care, what that looks like, and that it's just half-day classes?
Yeah, so again, our 3 school meets 2 times a week for 2.5 hours. So our morning session is from 9:30 to noon. Our afternoon session is from 1 to 3:30. So if you do need full day care, that's when Adventure Club comes into play. They open at 7 here at the center, and they're open till 6 p.m. So families can either, if you need to drop your child off at 7, they'll go to Adventure Club. There's a staff person then that takes them down to preschool for their preschool portion of the day. And then someone walks them back to Adventure Club to finish out their day at Adventure Club. And that is available 5 days a week.
Thank you. The next question, I'm wondering, Sherry, if you wouldn't mind speaking a little bit to, I have a couple of people said they are wondering about the half-day program and wondering what happens during center time, for example, pre-academics, learning about letters and such, if their student were just to attend half-day.
So it's building to building with the half-day program. Like, for instance, in my building right now, I have only morning kids that come. So we do a lot in our center time to meet all of our requirements. We want to focus on Letterland. We work a lot on counting. We're doing small groups where kids get some individual time with the teachers, and we can work specifically on what they need.
I think too, just knowing, because this is a very common question that we get. So half-day students will get the core of the preschool program, and then if they attend full day, that's when we're able to provide extension activities for students in the afternoons. So there might be additional Letterland activities or additional read alouds during the afternoon, etc.
Thank you. I have a question around if a family is debating on having their child attend full-time or part-time, can they change that registration after they have signed up? Or what do you suggest on that, Amy?
Yeah, that's another really great question. And every year we do have a lot of students where families had signed them up for half days. They come, they love it. They see their friends staying for lunch and recess, and they end up wanting to stay too. So we definitely are great, just having parents talk to the teachers to make sure that they, agree that each child can have the stamina for a full day, but we have a lot of students throughout the year that will move from half day to full day. And it typically happens, I would say, earlier in the fall, because again, the kids just like it so much that they end up wanting to stay. Go ahead, Sherry.
I just want to add to that, actually, as a teacher, we encourage parents to, at least by spring break, give the kids the full day transition. Not only does it give them an opportunity to be on the buses, both to school and from school, but it gives them the opportunity to be in the cafeteria, learn their PIN numbers, and give them actually an experience that is very similar to kindergarten. And most of the kids really do look forward to coming full day.
Thank you. Amy Scari, could you just go over again the Summer Adventure Club hours? And does summer registration open on April 5th as well?
It does not. It opens earlier. I believe it is March. Let me pull it up here. I just had it. The hours for Summer Adventure Club are the same as during the school year. Well, they're 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is what our hours are at our elementary sites. It's only the ECFC site that opens at 7 a.m. And I'll have to pull up the registration. I think it's March something, but that is updated on the website, the summer. And our summer sites this year will be Lily Lake and Lake Elmo.
Thank you. A couple of questions, Amy Berge, around registering for any school. They don't have to just register for their homeschool. And to follow up on that, can they register for more than one school?
Yes, you do not have to register for your homeschool. You can register for any of our sites. And you can also register for more if you're wanting to try and ensure that you get into a preschool building. And then typically what happens if we see that, then we'll give you a call to make sure that we're accepting the contract at the school of your first choice.
Thank you. Could you talk a little bit about the preschool calendar following inquiring about the same holidays off or the same days as like the K-5 calendar?
Yeah, so the school board has not voted on the calendar for next year, so I can't speak specifically for next year, but in general, we do have preschool orientation that happens 2 days, typically in August, and that's a time for you to meet individually with your child's classroom teacher, and they go over our handbook and what their schedule is and all the special stuff that pertains to each particular classroom and that teacher. So that will happen. Then we will start typically the Tuesday after Labor Day. We do follow the same calendar, except, and again, it's hard for me to tell because the school board hasn't chosen the calendar yet, but typically we have our winter break is a little bit longer. So for instance, students this year in K-12 were done on a Wednesday before Christmas, where preschool had the whole week off. So we had 2 full weeks off. So we typically have those 2 full weeks off. But other than that, we run all the same days off, and then we typically end about a week earlier than K-12.
Thank you. Do we know about masks for next year, Amy?
We do not know about masks for next year.
Amy Scari, I have a question. Someone is looking online and can't find the price without going through the registration process. Do you have numbers that you can elaborate on for full day care prices for the summer?
Yep, the It should be out there. It was just put out there today under the summer page, if you're looking for summer rates. But just remember that kids going into 4-year-old preschool, unless they were in 3 school, cannot register for Adventure Club. So it's only kids going into kindergarten and then 3 school students. So for 20 to 29 days, it's $47.60 a day. 30 to 39 days, it's $44.30 per day. 40 or more days, it's $41.20 a day. Those are the summer rates. The school year rates should be out on the website, but they're actually on a separate page called rates, is where you'll find those.
Thank you. Let's see, I know there was, I think I missed one up here. Could you talk through again one more time, registering for Friday play days? I'm having someone say that it's not, they're not finding it on the pre-K website.
Right, right. All of that information will be up at 7 a.m. tomorrow. So if you haven't done so already and don't have an LEO account, you can go in and create that account. So then tomorrow at 7, when everything opens and all of our classes are posted, then you can go in and click and quickly fill out the registration. But all of our sections will post tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions about ages, and they're actually going both ways. So questions around if my student is already past the age, so say for instance, a 5-year-old, could they still attend the 4-year-old preschool? And then asking about if my child will not be of age by registration date, or by September 1st, I should say.
Yeah, so absolutely. If there's a child that turns 5, say during the summer, we get a lot of summer birthdays, and families want that extra year. We definitely do accept registrations. However, it is a hard no past September 1st.
Nandita's iPhone, I see that you have your hand raised. Is there a question that you asked that hasn't been clarified? You could type it in the chat or go ahead and unmute. Oh, I see you just messaged me. Yeah, I'll answer that. Question about LEO account with another district. Do you know if they speak with one another, or if they would have to create a new account? Do you know about that, Amy Berkey?
I might look at Amy Scary, but I believe that it's my understanding that each district has their own LEO account and they don't talk to each other. Is that your understanding, Amy?
Yeah, there's some weirdness once in a while. So what I would do is just go out tonight and go from the link on our website that says log in, try and type in your email and password. It might bring you up and then it would like come over to our account. If not, you may have to make a new one. If it doesn't recognize you, you'll just have to make a new one. But I do have people once in a while who appear to be in more than one district. We can't see anything in another district. So if you have other stuff, so it's almost like you have to log in through us before we would be able to see it.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
We are located in the South Washington 833 district, and we don't have a full day preschool here or pre-K. I'm wondering if we are still allowed to register.
Yes,
Okay. And or is that an extra cost?
No, no extra cost.
Okay. And the last question is the Adventure Club after school care after the program is done still at the elementary school? And is that a separate registration for the fall?
Yes, that is a separate registration, and that is the April 5th date to register for before and after school care through Adventure Club.
Okay.
So tomorrow is just preschool, and then Friday play days out at the elementary buildings.
Okay, so that the March 5th or April 5th?
Yep, that would be if you need care after 3:15.
Okay, and that would go to 6 o'clock.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Would that go to 6 o'clock or?
Yes.
And my last question really has to do with a potty training and things like that. But my child is probably 90% potty trained. I was just wondering if the teachers give reminders to the children because he's only exposed to daycare right now. And so how does that work at
Yeah,
the public school level?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say that half of our preschool classrooms probably we're fortunate to have restrooms in the classrooms. And so part of the teaching within the classroom is, to use the bathroom. And then most of our teachers, if not all of them, have scheduled bathroom breaks. And so then, they take the group of students to use the restrooms. And then, of course, if a child needs to go when it's not the whole group, then there's an assistant that would assist them to the restroom if it's outside the class.
Okay. And I know this is virtual, but would there be an opportunity to come and see the classrooms before or bring our child to see a classroom?
Yeah, you can definitely email me and
You're accepted.
Yep, if you're accepted, you can email me and we can set up. We are doing some tours, obviously when kids aren't in session. So typically that takes place after 3:30.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Amy Berge, could you speak one more time to enrollment if your student is not of age by September 1, say their birthday is in mid-September?
Yep. So then let's just say, for instance, your child turns 4 mid-September, they would be eligible for 3 school.
And if a child does not turn 3 until, say, mid-September, what would an option be for families?
Sure. So we offer some early childhood family education classes through the center. Those are parent-child classes. They are about an hour and a half in length. And we have some that are mixed ages. So 1 to 4-year-olds would be in the class. We have a STEAM class that runs for that. Well, I think it's 3 to 5 for that. So that's an option. So typically we just recommend that parents see if there might be an ECFE class that might work into their schedule.
Thank you. Amy Scari, could you speak to if Adventure Club has any type of curriculum that they use?
Just threw that in the chat, but no, we don't have a specific curriculum. We do offer many choices and activities, and as well as field trips and camps and things in the summer, but we don't have a specific curriculum that we follow.
And then Amy Berge, I have a couple of busing questions. One, do you know about the 2-mile, what that looks like? Is it as the crow flies? How do they come up with a 2-mile? And then is busing available if your child attends a school that is not their home school?
No, the best response I have for the first question is to call the transportation department. They would be able to give you more accurate information than I would be able to with regard to transportation. And that's a great clarification point about transportation, is that the busing only happens to your home school. So if you were to say you lived in Lake Elmo but wanted to go to Rutherford, transportation would not be provided because Lake Elmo would be the home school.
Thank you. Amy Berge, how soon are families notified if their child got a spot in a classroom after registering?
We're hoping to get that information out to families in 2 weeks. And you will get notified hopefully in the next 2 weeks if you got in or if you got put on a wait list.
If I haven't asked your question and you had already put it in the chat, I might have overlooked it. If you are someone who is waiting for your question that you've already plunked in there, if you want to put it in again or go ahead and raise your hand. Amy Berge, how many preschool classrooms are at the elementary locations?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have 2 classrooms at each building, except for Miss Sherry's class at Anderson. Being the smaller school, we only have 1 classroom at Anderson, and we have currently 2 4-year-old classrooms at the center and 2 3-year-old classrooms at the center. And there are no 3 school classrooms at the elementary buildings, only 4 school.
If a family wants to wait to send their child to kindergarten until they're age 6, is it okay for their 4-year-old to attend 3 school?
Is that typically if that child is age is 4, going into that 3 school, I guess my recommendation would probably be to do 4 school twice, half days the first year and then full days the second year. Sherry, I don't know if you have any other thoughts on that.
That would be my recommendation as well.
Could you talk about the registration fee? Is it reimbursable if the family does not get accepted?
The only time you will get charged the registration fee is if you are accepted. So if you're on a wait list, you will not be charged the $65.
And then question about priority for homeschools. If registration is filled up by other students who it is not their homeschool, do you give priority to those who it is their home school.
We do not. All registration is first come, first serve.
A follow-up on the registration fee, if they choose a different program, will they get a refund?
No.
And just a question about lunches. Can preschoolers take their own lunch to school instead of having lunch provided through the district?
Yep, absolutely.
Julie, can I add to that? At the
Yes,
beginning,
please.
at the beginning of the year in September, we have a lot of students that bring a cold lunch. And I would say by October, nearly everybody is eating at the school. They have such a great program at the schools with their lunches, and the kids see everybody going through the lunch line. And we have many parents who will say, oh, my child is a very picky eater. I'll send them with a cold lunch. And within a few weeks, they are changing their mind and they're eating at the school.
Sherry, will you also talk about the supply list? Have a question about requiring own supplies, and is there a list provided on that?
So the supply list this year was kind of set out by Amy on the early childhood website, and then each individual school had their own additional supply list, and that will be sent out in August along with your orientation letter.
So Sherry brings up a good point. When you're accepted into preschool in June, I just send like a save the date card, just so that you kind of know what to expect next as you're coming into the school year. So reminding families about when the orientation date is if you want to go in. We do have a generic preschool supply list, and those are just basic supplies that teachers have because of the activities that they do throughout the year. And then I also at that time will let you know when to expect the letter in the mail that tells you who your teacher is. And that usually happens around the second week in August. We do send all of that information out the same time that the K-5 buildings send it out to families. So we're in conjunction with them. So everybody is learning who their teacher is. So that happens in August. And then again, like Sherry said, if the teacher does have additional supplies from the generic one, that information is in that packet of information from the teacher as well.
Amy Berge, a couple of questions on how fast buildings or schools fill up, wondering if there are specific schools that fill up faster than others, or does it just depend on each school year? Specific questions about Lake Elmo and or Stonebridge. So if you could just talk to that for a moment.
Yeah, it is definitely the $1 million question. It does kind of depend each year. But I would say that the trend the last couple of years have been Lake Elmo, Brookview, and Afton. Sherry Anderson as well, just because there's one class. They tend to be the ones that fill up the fastest. And I say this with caution, but we're talking like probably within the first hour of registration. It goes really fast in preschool. But don't get discouraged if you're on a wait list, because we do see a lot of ebb and flow. It's a long time between January and September. So a lot can happen with families. People can move, people can change their mind. All types of things can happen. So I tell parents just to be patient, and because that's always a fluid thing, is that wait list, if you do happen to get on the wait list.
What about 3 school? How fast does that fill up, Amy?
Yeah, 3 school. I will tell you that mornings are the most popular. So when they do fill up, it tends to be the mornings, because we do see that there are kiddos that are still napping in the afternoon, so families choose mornings. But because we have so many sections, morning sections with the 2 teachers, it doesn't fill up as quickly as our 4-year-old preschool.
And if a family doesn't get into the school of their choice, are they offered other options?
No.
Amy Berge, could you talk a little bit about our parent-aware star ratings and what that means about the quality of our schools?
Sure. So we go through parent aware rating every 2 years. And what the state is looking for with that is that all of our teachers have been trained on the curriculum that we use, as well as assessment. So we do follow creative curriculum, that framework of creative curriculum, which really goes around how our day is scheduled. And then assessment piece is through what we call TS Gold. And kiddos are assessed 3 times a year on a variety of different skills. And teachers share that information, more specifically that information, at our winter conference that's coming up in February. We do have 2 conferences a year, one in the fall and one here in winter in February. The first conference is really a time for you to chat with your child's teacher, to see how they've settled into the class and their social emotional adjustment to being at school, as well as, talking about what goals the teacher has for the child for the year, and what your goals are for your child. No, Sherry, if you want to add anything else.
Regarding assessments?
Assessments.
I think you covered it really well. We will we'll assess 3 times a year, once in October, and then actually we're doing it right now for February. We've started, and then we will do it again in May. And we try to do authentic assessments, so it's play-based, and we are working with kids while they are playing. And we do it on a variety of areas. So we're working with them on letters and sounds, both upper and lowercase recognition, as well as the sound recognition. We work with counting and shapes, one-to-one correspondence, and then we also assess their social emotional needs.
Sherry, I'm also wondering if you could talk about how preschoolers get off the bus when they're at an elementary building, and what that looks like. How do they know where to go? How do we get them there safely?
So I can speak for Anderson, because I know building to building it's different. At Anderson, especially at the beginning of the year, I'm outside at the buses, and typically my assistant is in the classroom, and we have a lot of para support from the paras that work in the building. So when it comes to parent drop off, usually the paras are bringing the kids to the door, and then my classroom is right by the front door. So my kids come in the door and we're right there. and not all buildings are like that. And then as far as the buses go, we do have other paras outside, but I tend to try to meet my kids outside as much as possible. And we also have 5th graders at Anderson that help their bus patrols, and they come out and help walk students in. They are coming from 2 different doors usually.
And I'll just add that we make sure that obviously teachers have all the bus information. So which child is riding which bus, so they know which buses to get the kiddos off of. And then we also provide bus tags, and those tags are put on the child's backpack that has their name, their the bus that they ride, and who their teacher is. So I can say confidently at each building, there are staff that are helping the kids get off the bus when they get to school and ensure that they're getting to the correct staff person.
And just one more thing to add. I know busing is scary for parents, and it seems like, oh, I'm putting my little 4-year-old on this big bus and I'm worried that they're not going to get there. I just want to reassure you that there are so many people out there that are helping. And if you have an older sibling that's on the bus, these kids really are able to do it. And I know it seems scary, but they really have got it. They do a wonderful job.
Amy Berge, could you talk about the COVID protocols that we've had this year, and are there any vaccination requirements around COVID?
No, there are no vaccination requirements. Our 4-year-olds are all masked. Staff is all masked. And obviously teachers are cognizant of, distancing within their classroom. They had to do that a lot last year, so they know how to provide spaces, adequate spaces for their kiddos. There's a lot of hand sanitizer that's being used. Again, the prepackaged food goods. The teachers are responsible for washing down the tables and washing down the any materials or toys that are in the classroom. Did I miss anything, Sherry?
Breakfast is served in the classroom right now. And pre-COVID, we were in the lunchroom or in the cafeterias, but now breakfast is being served in the classroom. We do eat lunch, however, in the cafeteria.
I don't see any more new questions. I'll say again, though, if you had a question in the chat that I overlooked, you can go ahead and type it back in or use the raise your hand feature. But otherwise, I haven't seen anything new come in just a couple of minutes.
Julie, one thing I want to add too regarding masks is students are required to wear masks on the bus.
Thank you.
Yeah, so while Julie's monitoring that, again, obviously this has been up for a while, but please feel free to reach out to us, call us, email us. This is all of our contact information. We're happy to answer any other additional questions you may have. And we're just super excited that you're considering Stillwater area preschools for your child next year. And we love welcoming in new and returning students. Anything else, Julie?
Just a question. Nandita, you're asking about your 4-year-old registering for pre-K or preschool. You might hear the terms being used, pre-K or preschool. Typically it's this, we're talking the same thing, unless we're calling it 3 school. So hopefully that answered your question. Amy Berge, I did see something come in asking about COVID cases in the school or classroom, what the current protocol is.
Yeah, so we recently just changed, the district did. If there was a COVID positive case, the student or staff person was out for 10 days. That quarantine time has been shortened to 5 days. So if they're COVID positive at this point, it is a 5-day. And if they are symptom free, they can come back on that 6th day, and they are obviously still required to wear a mask. All right. Well, again, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Again, we wish we could be in person, but hope that you were able to get the information that you needed from this presentation and the panel that we had tonight. And again, if you have any further questions, please feel free to email any one of us, and we're happy to help you out. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Pam Morrison, I just want to double check registration. If a student is on an IEP, is there anything different in the process of registering?
Can you see me? Sorry. No, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or your child's case manager about that. Each of those are individualized decisions, so I would encourage you to talk to them. If you have a particular question tonight, feel free to email me. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.